I recognise some of those names that are joining. G'day, Josh. G'day, Ben. G'day, Emma. They might be on mute, I think.
Yes, I don't think that they'll be able to say hello back to you, Paul, but they
Okay.
might give a shout out in the chat. All right, we are going to start our webinar today. So, welcome everyone that has joined us today for this exciting webinar on Freedom One and featuring Paul Scerri and his move to Freedom One. So we're going to dive into that soon. My name's Sophie. I am the General Manager for OpenSolar in Australia and New Zealand. And I am hosting today alongside my colleague Jill, who is here to help as well, and she'll be manning the chat. So anyone with any questions, can you please put that in the just chat thread, and we will endeavour to answer all those questions at the end. I also have alongside Paul Henny Coleman from Freedom One, who is also going to be talking today and helping in particular with some of the technical questions around the product as well. Just while we give everyone a couple of minutes to join in that might be running late, I am going to share with you a video on OpenSolar.
The world's fastest, most accurate 3D solar design tool. Market-leading customer experience, 100% branded as your business. Dynamic selling tools, multiple system options, compelling digital proposals, all devices, multiple finance options, fully integrated. Approval takes seconds, all to your proposal. End-to-end workflow includes project permitting and install management. World's leading accuracy means excellent installation and reliable system performance, which means happy customers referring friends. Managed in your CRM through the OpenSolar API. Our completely free of charge software saves your business thousands so that you're free to grow. OpenSolar.
Okay, so let's get started. We're a couple of minutes past 4, and we are going to dive right in on Freedom One and all things battery, and starting off with a bit of an agenda. You have this overview. You'll also see a live demo where I'm going to show you how to add Freedom One into your OpenSolar proposal, a quick overview of OpenSolar as well, and some exciting bits and pieces that are coming. And then we're going to have a Q&A session at the end. So if you have any questions that you would like us to answer, please pop them in that chat and we will get to them at the end. But let's get the ball rolling with a quick poll. And if you can answer this poll that's going to flick up onto your screens in a moment, that would be great. And what the question here, what applications are Freedom One batteries designed for? So choose all that you think apply to this. There, a hint is that there may be more than one or two. We'll just give everyone a couple of moments to answer that question. Some interesting results coming through. And in a moment, we'll give you another 5 seconds. I'm going to ask Jill, would you like to share what the poll says are the top applications?
All right. Hi, Sophie. So I think majority of our attendees have answered the application for Freedom One batteries are mostly for residential. And
Mhm.
then that's first. We also have second for commercial. And then I think the third would be for utility or industrial.
Okay, perfect. Thanks, Jill. Now, interesting. We'll touch base with you, Paul, quickly. Would you like to share that correct answer, which we'll dive into again a little bit later? What's the correct answer to this question for everyone that's attending?
Yeah, the correct answer is all except cars. We cover all residential, commercial, marine, utility, grid, and off-grid systems. So we have the entire portfolio of products to cover every market segment.
Wow, that's a lot of batteries, Paul. So it sounds like we've got a fair bit to talk about. But first, I am super keen to find out more about your journey to Freedom One. Now, I've known you for a while, Paul. Tell us how you began, I guess, in this industry, in the renewables industry.
Yeah, thank you, Sophie. Yes, we've known each other quite a long time. I started life in the solar industry back in 2010 with Bosch as a country manager there, launching the Bosch solar brand. And I think that's where we may have first met, Sophie, with dispatching or signing up installers to promote and deploy the Bosch solar panels. Unfortunately, Bosch pulled out of solar panel manufacturing, like the likes of LG, and then I moved into distribution for 4 years. For those of you that have been in the solar industry long enough, first was Solar Inception, but the customers went after them, so they pulled out of the market. Then it was RFI, ran their sales team, and then REC Solar. I was with REC Solar for 8 years, rebuilt their channels to market, and then now to Freedom One. So yeah, it's been quite a journey. Like many people, we've had to jump from company to company to stay in the industry as the federal government attacked us, challenges from the market and the international pressures. But yeah, I wanted to stay in the market industry because I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a lot of change that you've seen, and certainly one of the longest serving probably members of the renewable industry. It's quite a amazing career that you've had, and a long time with REC, where a lot of people will probably know you, of course, from that time in your career, and you really led that incredibly well. I actually met you at the beginning of your REC journey, Paul, and so
Yes.
yeah, it's great to see you, all of that experience that you've developed over the years, and now you're here at Freedom One. So what inspired you to choose Freedom One as a spot where someone with so many skills and connections within this industry would move to?
Yeah, well, along with my roles in these companies, I also volunteered for the Smart Energy Council, was on the board there twice, and the Clean Energy Council with their product listing approval process. And through all the connections there, I heard that there was going to be a federal government rebate coming in, and I saw from AMO presentations that the batteries were essential and desperately needed in the network to keep it stable while fossil fuel power plants dropped out. So I could see that was going to be the next wave. So solar panels went through theirs, and obviously they've turned themselves into a commodity. So it was best to get onto a new technology in the market that actually still has a point of difference and can provide the next value add to all consumers.
I think that's a very well thought out and smart move, Paul, and it's certainly something that we are definitely seeing since the launch of the cheaper home batteries rebate, which we'll probably touch on a fair bit during this conversation. What were the biggest gaps that you saw aside from this rebate coming in to drive battery momentum? What were some of the other gaps you saw in the battery storage market to make that decision?
Yeah, and it was those gaps that draw me to Freedom One. First of all, Freedom One is not a Chinese manufacturer. We are a South African manufacturer, with all manufacturing in South Africa. We don't use third-party manufacturing sites to produce. We also use commercial-grade components in our products. So as you can see there, we have a lot of commercial products, and that technology is used in our residential and off-grid products. So we have heavy-duty batteries, we have aluminium casings. The product is designed to provide a one-seat discharge and recharge rate, which is basically being able to discharge your battery, the whole capacity of your battery, within 1 hour. There are not too many batteries that are capable of doing that, both in residential and commercial, so that is market leading. We also have a lot of smarts in the product itself that manage the heat very well. They're not the smaller batteries rely purely on ventilation, no fan forcing required.
There's some really interesting things that you mentioned there, and I think we'll loop back around in a moment. So it sounds like, Paul, you've made this decision, battery market is opening up, you know that's the direction that you want to head in. You identify a product that you think this is really fabulous, I'm going to put my name to this, and I think that everyone that listens to this and knows your story will be like, okay, if Paul's got his name to something, it must be quality, and that's something that you've certainly followed along your journey. What are some of those lessons that you've learnt in your career in the renewable space, and probably in particular with your time at REC, that you can apply in the battery market and drive this next chapter for Freedom One?
Yeah, over 15 years, there's a lot of lessons learned. Some of the major ones is channel management. Keep it simple. Don't make it too complicated. Make it easy and accessible to all, both metro and regional, and also to treat the installers as equals, as partners in the process. We rely on their success to be successful. They have businesses they need to run. They have people that depend on them for their salaries and so forth. So it is a partnership with both our distributors and with our installers.
Oh, I actually really like that, Paul, and certainly I think one of your strengths that I know and have known you from your career with REC is your ability to really connect with people and bring people together and network. So absolutely, I can hear what you're saying there, and I'm looking forward to seeing you develop that now, particularly in the battery space. What we might talk about now, and it's you've kind of led into it already, but Freedom One, that's the next chapter for you. What is your first thing that you want to do in building this brand for the Australian and New Zealand market? Now that you're here, new brand, new role, what are your priorities?
Well, first of all, it's brand awareness, and that's hence our partnership with OpenSolar, and today's webinar is to get the word out. Freedom One's been in production with batteries since 2010, so they've been deploying batteries throughout Africa, a lot of it off-grid, and that Africa would have to be the harshest environment and comparable to Australia. Freedom One has been in Australia for the past 7 years, and over those 7 years, they've deployed 1,700 batteries, predominantly commercial and off-grid. Very few in in residential grid connect, and that's the area that is the area that I'll be focused on. We do that a fair bit in Africa, but not here in Australia. So it is there's a lot to do there. We're obviously partnering up with the Smart Energy Council and SEA as well, the industry groups that support our installers.
Fantastic. And it's really interesting that you've mentioned it a couple of times, but not being an African manufacturer here, it's something that really is different as well. And I think what you're very right in saying that these batteries have clearly been tested in a very, very harsh environment that, they've got to be so durable to withstand those sorts of conditions. So it's really interesting to see that kind of different manufacturing country come to the Australian New Zealand market. So it is really, really exciting. And tell me, in terms of some of the other competitive advantages that you've talked about, explain a little bit more in terms of the residential and the industrial kind of space for batteries.
Yeah, we have our own corporate BMS and the actual internal designs, which Henny will go through shortly.
Awesome. Great.
Our product is capable of storing and dispatching more power per kilowatt hour than a lot of competitors. Henny will go through that a little bit later, but it's all in smarts and the industrial design of our residential and business batteries.
Fantastic. Okay. And how is Freedom One going to be distributed within Australia? How can people get their hands on this battery when they see it, they want to offer it to their customers and they then need to install it? Have you got your distribution channel sorted as well?
We've started. We've signed up DPA Energy as our first national distributor, and we're in talks with a couple more. We'll make announcements at a later date once all the formalities are completed, but we're excited about our upcoming announcements. We also have a couple of regional distributors that have been with us for quite some time in Australia. That's One Energy up in Queensland and Solar My World in Perth. And over in New Zealand, we have Taspac Energy. They've been a long-standing partner of ours in New Zealand and have been very successful both in the industrial and residential market segments. So there'll be lessons taken from the New Zealand model that will be applied here in Australia.
Oh, that's great. And I think that you're coming over as well with me to Auckland for the CN's conference.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. I'm looking forward to it. And I'm looking forward to hearing more about Freedom One while we're there as well. And obviously, we're kicking off conference season. A good time, Paul, to really get this product out and about with All Energy coming up as well. It's going to be a big event.
Absolutely.
Okay, so tell me a little bit more from an installer's perspective, and we'll dig into this with Henny a little bit in more technical detail. But just basically, if I'm an installer, what's one of the things that I'm going to really love about Freedom One? And imagine I'm on a residential install. Why would I want to do Freedom One?
It'll be the simplicity of the installation. It comes presented with basically ready to install. It should only take basically an hour to make all the connections and basically bolt it down. So
Awesome.
It is very straightforward. There's and the settings for the inverter, it's just a couple of steps. So it's more the simplicity and also the product itself looks industrial grade. So when a client sees the product, they'll see that is a very robust product. There's no plastic on it; it's all aluminium. So it looks right, looks like the right shit type of thing. Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. Now, and that's really important, I think, particularly with all these batteries rolling out everywhere and the popularity of the rebate program. Installers want it to be simple. You don't want to be faffing around on site. So I think that's a really, really key aspect of Freedom One. in terms of installers doing that, obviously they need some sort of support or training. What have you got set up?
Yes, yeah, we'll be running training programs in conjunction with our distributors. We have our local technical team here, so we're only a phone call away if an installer gets into a bit of strife. But the problems are very simple to answer over the phone. These batteries hook up to our portals, so we can log in and check them and see what's going on if there's any problem as well. So no, we have the local team here to back up installers when they're out on site.
That's super important. I know that local support is always something that's really highly valued. So well done on setting that up too. And from an installer's perspective, I've been speaking to quite a few in the last week or two. And one of the things that they're all complaining about is they can't get stock. Tell me, is there stock in Australia of the Freedom One battery?
Yes, we have stock here. We have 70 batteries in stock between ourselves. We carry stock ourselves and with our distribution partners, both from the East Coast and the West Coast. And we have a container loads coming in from South Africa as we speak. So there's product on the water that'll be arriving first thing next month that will be more than adequate for the uptake, and obviously we have more orders being procured at the factory for us at the moment.
Perfect. So hot tip, if you're on the webinar today and you want some product that is available and ready to install, we'll share some details, contact details for both Paul and Henny at the end of this so that you can get in touch and get some of that stock so that you can get on with your installs. That is super exciting to have something that's there and available. All right, we're going to start talking a little bit more about some of the technical aspects of Freedom One and your batteries. So Paul, Henny, whoever wants to answer these questions. From a technical perspective, and Paul, you've given a great sort of intro into why we might look at Freedom One. Henny, you might want to answer this. Can you give me an outline of what are some of the real technical strengths of Freedom One? So imagine I'm an installer. I'm a solar designer, not an installer, but imagine I am, and I want all the tech details on exactly what I'm going to be installing with this product.
Thank you, Sophie. Yeah, so I mean, from a Freedom One, I think we followed a very unique design comparing to some of our competitors. And the first thing is that each battery comes with, let's call it a smart and intelligent BMS that actually managing the battery and each battery down to a cell level. And obviously, if you are a technical kind of person, you would understand that the performance of the battery would align with the stability of the voltage within that battery. And the more stable the voltage is during the discharge cycle, the more power you will get out of it. Now, what Freedom have done is obviously the internal design allows it to operate at the upper end of the voltage curve, and that means that the battery discharge in a very stable voltage curve down to very, very low state of charge, and hence the statement that it actually delivers 50% more power than other batteries whereas the power start working hard and getting to a lower state of charge, it will start consuming its own energy, so to speak, and will drop off very quickly to basically a shutdown state. So therefore, the Freedom One is a much more stable or a very stable product, and delivers you more power for longer time. And it's a result of that internal design together with the BMS as such.
Yeah, wow. And that's got to be a super great selling point, right? Is that across all of your range of batteries, Henny?
Starting at the lowest model, and it goes to the highest model that we have, which some of our larger single battery casings is 700 kilowatt hours that you get in a single form than what you see on the screen, but just in a much larger casing. And then we have our utility scale kind of product, which is our mega tower, which comes into a modular kind of solution. But all carry the same design, the same technology inside it.
Wow, it sounds like it's quite unique technology, and I suppose once you get it right, you make sure that all of your products have it, so it really does speak volumes. What are some of the safety features of the battery and the certifications when we're talking about the Australian and New Zealand markets that are applicable? Henny, can you share?
Yeah, so from a battery safety perspective, I think starting with the battery management system embedded in the battery, it does obviously do soft and hard protection of the battery against electrical events like surge in current or voltages, which will either in some cases soft protect the battery and sort of switch off or cut off. But in other cases, depending on the criticality of that event, it will physically trip the breaker of the battery and sort of disconnect it from the system. The the temperature management within the battery, obviously well thought through as part of the design. What the BMS will do is when the battery starts reaching at internal temperature at 45 degrees. Now, I can categorically say I have not seen a battery of Freedom One in the Australian market in a hotter summer day that reach that internal temperature. So, but in case that should happen, the BMS actually start gradually degrade the performance of the battery up to, in a linear manner, up to 60 degrees. When it gets to 60 degrees and the temperature sort of will exceed that kind of threshold, the BMS will physically trip and shut down the entire battery. So the total battery will be de-energized from the circuit as such, and that is to protect the battery as well as the environmental side of things in terms of a possible safety event that could happen if that does not happen. In terms of the batteries going into the market now on the CSE listing, obviously all of our batteries will comply to the latest battery standards where both poles are fully isolated as such, and it's all built in the battery, so you don't need external isolators, so to speak, to protect the battery. It all comes built in and embedded in the battery itself.
Perfect. And it's interesting that sort of the heat reference. No doubt this is because it's a South African company. That whole temperature safety aspect of it has been very, very well tested in the harshest of climates. So that's a great testament to what this sort of safety levels of the battery are like and what it's going to achieve in the similar Australian climate. That's pretty harsh sometimes depending where you are in Australia. What I'm really interested in, and one of the areas is how Freedom One is going to integrate with inverters and monitoring and all of those different bits and pieces. And I think this is an area that's really of interest, particularly at the moment. Can you share, Henny, on what's happening there?
Absolutely. So I think a couple of things to say around monitoring and management of the Freedom One battery. Obviously, with the latest generation of our batteries in the market now, fitted out with a communication module that not only just connect to the inverter and through to the inverter portal, but also to connect directly to our Freedom One portal, where we're actually able remotely to manage and monitor and troubleshoot that battery right down to a cell level. So we don't need people to go to site. As long as internet connection is there and available, we would be able to analyze every battery in a battery bank, if there's multiple batteries in a battery bank on site, and understand where the problem lies, etc. So that's the one part. From an inverter compatibility, we're probably one of the batteries that have the broadest range of compatible inverters. And on our website, there is quite a large list of inverters listed. But we have done some extensive work over the years to ensure that our battery works with a very, very large range. And that's on a 52-volt range as well as high voltage kind of inverters. And then through that inverters portals, our Freedom One battery information is also available as such.
Okay, great. And if anyone has any questions in relation to what specific inverters are compatible with the battery, we'll share your details, as I said, at the end, and you can answer that specific model with them and go through those questions and help them out. Okay, so imagine I am a customer. What should an installer tell me, and what's going to appeal to me as an end customer about Freedom One and why I should install a Freedom One battery?
So I think from a warranty perspective, the warranty is local by Freedom One Australia. So you don't have to phone the manufacturer up in South Africa or any other country for that matter. So you
Amazing.
have a local phone call, you speak in English, and you actually be able to claim the warranty within Australia. So that's the first point. The second point to it is Freedom One Australia follows a very simplistic approach to it because of the capability and analysis and diagnostics that the capability they have on the battery. We can easily and very quickly make a decision on if it's a warranty related claim or not. And we immediately then address that through our distributors or directly with the end client, whichever the channel is that has been proposed or presented through that specific incident. Then in terms of warranties itself, obviously we have sort of two warranties to the product. One is a standard performance warranty or a standard warranty, which is 10 years or 6,000 discharge and charge cycles. Now, the BMS have all of the algorithm that sits in there that record these, so it's always available and presentable by accessing the BMS. Would be able to tell you what that number of cycles is. And then for customers that have a more a heavier load of electrical load on their installations or on their sites, there is also the alternative performance warranty that I can subscribe to, where the performance, the number of cycles is less than the standard warranty, but it still does provide a warranty period at one cycle per day to actually last more than 10 years. So from that perspective, it's not the fact that it's now performance warranty and less cycles, that it's going to be the battery is going to pack up within the warranty period. The number of cycles as part of that is still more than 10 years should you do one cycle per day.
Okay, so warranties being a strength of the product is really important for customers, I think, right now when they're comparing different batteries. So it's good to know that that's a solid warranty and that is able to be activated in Australia without Australian support. So I think that's definitely a nice win. All right,
probably,
now,
sorry, just probably a last one on that is that customers can be assured that Freedom One Australia is capable of actually, it doesn't matter which size of battery you have, as capable of repairing that battery back to design standard down to a cell level or any individual component. So it's not a matter of scrapping a total battery. We pretty much are able to repair the battery at a component level.
And you know what? Now, mentioning that, Henny, as a customer, that would really appeal to me as well, because there is a lot of talk in the industry and around all of the waste and getting rid of batteries. But it's a really great element to Freedom One if it can be repaired down to that level, and that's great. Repairing, in my mind, particularly in these bigger batteries, is great option versus replacing and getting rid of those components. So nice one. I like it. We've got some information here about the product range. I want to start off right down at the marine range.
Yes.
I did not know that you guys did a marine battery. Tell me a little bit about that, and then we'll move up to some of the bigger ones.
Yeah, and that's probably the battery where Freedom One have started with. Its existence around the marine ecotourism kind of industry and market sector.
Oh, wow.
But have in just after 2012, around 2014, sort of expanded into the stationary storage of the models on the left-hand side top, and then moved into the more commercial size kind of solutions. Now, interesting to know, Sophie, is that we have a global custom Freedom One have a global customer that actually specializing and have embarked on converting marine vessels to full EV vessels operating from Freedom One marine batteries.
Really?
So we are on the verge of I think as we speak, the first vessel in Australia might go through the paint booth as we speak. And then that vessel is about, I think it's a 25 or a 30-footer vessel servicing moving around in ports for servicing purposes, and it will fully operate on Freedom One marine batteries.
Wow, that's incredible. So everything from on the water to your residential batteries to your commercial batteries, and then the really big industrial size batteries as well.
Okay.
That's really impressive. Now, from a customer's point of view, if we're talking about batteries, and if somebody's new to this, and what's something an installer can show a customer if they haven't installed one themselves yet? Have you got a flagship project somewhere that they can refer to give some evidence?
We pretty much have good reference sites in all of the main centers of Australia, except probably Melbourne at this point in time. But I would say in all other states and obviously Northern Territory, but we also have 2 sites in the far north Western Australia at the mining industry, at some of the mines, where our batteries are actually operating in a mining industry and a mining context as well. So there are sufficient, I think, installation references in Australia, many in New Zealand, and also quite a number in Vanuatu and other Pacific islands.
Interesting. And what's one of the biggest systems that you've done in Australia or New Zealand so far?
So in Australia, we have a 200 kilowatt hour battery bank with a 100 kilowatt high voltage system with aged care facility in Perth, running as a peak shaving kind of solution system.
Okay.
And then in Vanuatu, we have a 300 kilowatt hour, and then down in New Zealand, the guys have done some great work with the smaller batteries, where they have parallel up to 20 of these smaller 15 kilowatt batteries in parallel on a single bank, delivering 300 kilowatt at 52 volt.
Okay, awesome. So some good sites there to look at and talk about as well. Thank you. Interesting to see what the range is. Now, before we hit the demo, I just want to talk a little bit, and you might be able to answer some of these questions, Paul or Henny. We've dived into some of the technical aspects now on top of, why sort of Freedom One and why, Paul, you've joined Freedom One. But milestones the next 12 to 24 months, aside from the visibility, tell me where you want to be in 12 months, 24 months.
From a Freedom One vision is that we want to be a well-known brand and used brand in the residential grid-connected market. We want to dominate the off-grid market in Australia, and we want to be the number 1 or number 2 large system provider in Australia for BESS systems.
There's some great big goals for you to achieve, Paul. You've got
KPIs.
You've got a few batteries to sell, so that's super exciting to see that you've got that long-term vision for Australia. But in terms of the storage market overall in Australia in particular, what do you think is going to happen over the next 5 years? And we've got this sudden surge. Where are we going to head?
Yeah, I can answer this. Part of the benefit of being involved with the Clean Energy Council and the Smart Energy Council, got a lot of opportunities to talk with AEMO, and their predictions is that the Australian distributed storage market is going to double in deployment every year for the next 5 years.
Wow.
Currently we're just under 3 gigawatts of storage deployed, and they're forecasting that we'll get to 37 gigawatts of deployed storage by 2050. So we have a fantastic time ahead of us, and obviously a lot of work, because not only is that a forecast, that is what's needed by the network to keep it operating. One, to soak up all that excess solar and wind that's been generated during the day, but also to feed the houses at night when more of the coal-fired power plants are closed down. So not only do we have a great opportunity, but we have a responsibility to deliver on those forecasts.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. That's a really nice commitment and something to really contribute to, Paul, and particularly if you're going to hit those KPIs that, Henny's just outlined for you as well. You are going to be certainly very busy. And I think it's a interesting time for installers and retailers when they are evaluating different options. Like, there's quite a few, honestly, on the market now on the CEC approved list, and that's being updated all the time as well. What is your message to installers on how they should work out which battery manufacturers they're going to use in their offerings?
I think from a I mean, one is depending on the application for it, but from a Freedom One brand perspective, is around the scalability. Is you don't buy once and have to replace if you want to scale out. You can actually, with no regret cost, scale out, start small and scale out big. So that is one of the benefits of Freedom One batteries, and you literally have very, very little limitations to that. Doesn't matter if you in a home-based kind of solution or a commercial kind of site or a large industrial kind of site. So that's the one part. The second part is the local support, local warranty. In our mind is a big aspect for consumers, because they don't get handed over to a process that is beyond the boundaries of the country. And then thirdly is that the reliability of the battery and the safety of the battery has been proven and tested not over the last 4 or 5 years or 2 years, has been tested for 15 years. And we can say that Freedom One have to date have not recorded one critical incident of overheating or fire on any battery that we have deployed in the market. So from that perspective, touch wood. But from that perspective, the things that customers are concerned about, safety, local support, warranty, what happened tomorrow if the people that have sold me is not around, where do I go? It's all local.
Yeah, that's awesome. So some really good things to remind all of our pros and our installers to look at these things when they're assessing the different offerings out there. So and that proven track record, I think, Henny, if I was to be assessing what batteries I install, is really, really imperative that, and you guys have got that. So so well done. Welcome to really the next stage of the Australian New Zealand battery market, and really working towards being that brand of recognition that you want to achieve. What I'm going to do now is move aside from the technical discussion and show our attendees just really quickly how they can add the Freedom One battery to their OpenSolar platform. So just give me 2 seconds to adjust my share for you, and I will then show with our demo account here that you can see. I just want to make that a little bit larger for myself. All right, so I have here, this is our demo account, and what I'm going to do is show our pros how easy it is to add the Freedom One batteries to your list of batteries. And then in a project, I'm going to add a Freedom One battery and show you what it looks like in the proposal for the end customer. So to add Freedom One products to your account, simply going to the control and design and hardware, and we want to add a battery. So we've got the list of batteries here. I need to just move my screens around a little bit. I'm going to hit add from database because I am going in to add a Freedom One and search, just put in Freedom. So all the products are here, and we can see the lovely Freedom One range here, and it's nice to see lots of products. Let's add in this light home 10.8, so the 10 kilowatt hour battery, and everything's preloaded there. And we're just going to hit save. Now you can add things like the cost price in there. So when you go to your project, it's going to use your all your settings to calculate the price of the system for you. So I've got this test job here under Sophie, very original. And I have already created a design. So I've got a system here. Let's go to add a new system. We're going to duplicate it. I'm just waiting for my imagery to load. A second. What I'll do is I'll refresh that in a second. Sorry, I've got here we go. I've got a nice tin roof. Who wants to do an install like this on a tin roof? Lots of installers will be saying yes, please. We've got our panels. We've got a day inverter here. So what I'm going to do, I've added that battery into my control already. Or I can go here and start typing it in. Sorry, start typing in Freedom One. And again, I've already added this. You can see it's added to my list. If it's one that I haven't activated, I can add it at this point. But if you want to add the costings, you have to do that from the control section. Let's add in the battery that I added via the control list. And it comes up saying this hybrid inverter detected, automatically setting battery as DC. So that's what that's done. So that's all in there now. I can play around obviously with my design really quickly. If I want to, I can add in bits and pieces. I can put in my markings to show where the switchboard and things are for the installers. But I'm going to hit save. And that's my design done. Now I'm going to go to the online proposal and see what this looks like for the end customer. We can change the name to really highlight the Freedom One component. My scroll buttons, I'm on a laptop screen here with a bar of the attendees down the bottom. So just scrolling down now into the proposal, this is what the customer is going to receive. And we can see this nice image here and the Freedom One details, and we can click on the links for further details if we want to. So it appears really nicely into the proposal. It looks good. All the details are there, spec sheets are there. So it's a really great way for to showcase that to the customers, and knowing that all of those spec sheets are uploaded, installers don't have to worry about sharing them. So that's very quick, easy way to add Freedom One to your proposals and get them quoting to your customers, and then you can get installing them if you are lucky enough to get in on some of that stock that you've got available now for those that want to install now. Okay, what I'm going to do now is get back to the presentation component. Just let me get the right screen. Where are we? Here we go. Okay. A little bit more about OpenSolar and some of the exciting things that we've got coming. I've got another quick poll here. If you can all just quickly answer this question for me, how long it takes you to do a proper solar design. And sorry, I've gone the wrong way. And for your team to do a design and build a customer-facing proposal, how long does it take? Now, I can't see these poll results, so Jill, I'll wait for you to get a few answers together and then share what the majority of responses are telling us. We'll give you another 20 seconds, 10 seconds. 20 seconds seems like a long time, doesn't it? Jill, have we got some answers there?
Yeah, majority of our attendees, Sophie answered it takes them around 15 to 30 minutes to, fix up a proposal in OpenSolar.
Yep. And putting in some of that information too and making sure that that proposal is really tailored, and that is a really great way to make sure that the customers have a tailored proposal to the answers. So using OpenSolar is going to be even faster soon. We've got some really exciting things coming in terms of our platform. Some of the things at the moment that OpenSolar offers, we're in over 160 countries. So for a product like Freedom One, where you're from South Africa or Australia, New Zealand, we're talking about all the other countries. We're very global and we have lots of partners and solar professionals on the platform already. So we have lots of really great features, including automated 3D designs and doing the ability to do quick proposals in under 5 minutes, and our integrated finance partners, as well as lots of other integrations. For those that don't know, I want to touch on our exciting cash flow feature. This enables you to get payments into your bank account from your customers, from deposit to the final installation payment, super fast and easy. If you have some questions around that, at the end, copy our link or send us a message, and we can help you get that all set up. Put a comment in the chat as well if you would like to see more on how simple and easy that is. We have some next steps before. I do have a really exciting info bit to share in a second, but scan this QR code and this will help you get in contact directly with Freedom One so that we can get you some of that stock that they have available and work out which is the best battery option for the project that you need. And the team there, led by Hanny and Paul, can assist you with all of your questions so that you can start offering Freedom One to your customers and get these installed. OpenSolar, here's a QR code. Now, you'll notice that this screen's a little bit special, and that's because on September the 19th in Australia, we are launching our 3.0 version. I kind of hinted before that proposals are going to get even faster, things are going to get even better. 3.0, trust me, guys, it is going to be really great, and there's lots and lots of emphasis on 3.0 and the excitement around it. I am a former business owner and solar designer, and I've used OpenSolar a lot in that regard too. So on the other side of it, where everyone else is from. And when I saw what is happening in 3.0, it still does give me goosebumps. It's super exciting, and it's going to be super, super, super easy and fast, and really you can do a lot more with these proposals and for your customers, and the time-saving bonuses that are coming are really, really, really exciting. Save time, save money, or just have more time to do the fun things that you want to do. So the Q&A session, we've talked a lot about Paul and his move to Freedom One. We've talked about Freedom One and this unique South African battery manufacturer bringing this product to Australia and New Zealand, and really now elevating that and their installations here, and the really great focus around driving that expansion into the market, as well as the battery range. So we're starting at marine batteries, residential, all the way up to your commercial and your industrial batteries. So a huge range of products, lots of great features, including fantastic warranties and some really great safety features as well. And most importantly for installers, super easy for them to install. Some questions now. Have we got some questions that are there? I'm trying to see the question and answer section, but I can't see that at the moment. I'm going to try and get, there we go, to where I can. Okay, some questions and answers. Where have we got? Somebody, Tessa, has also shared just a comment that Freedom One batteries also have safety fuses per cell modular layer on the commercial HV batteries. So thanks, Tessa, for sharing. It's nice to see our participants sharing some of the great features. And one thing installers love in New Zealand, over in New Zealand, is the built-in cables and breakers. So it's great to see some of the other benefits being shared in our chat as well. Some other questions. Have you got some other questions that have been sent in at all? We got some more questions, Jill?
I think we have one. It's more on in terms of like the access of Freedom One battery. So maybe Paul or Henny can answer this. So where can we actually purchase Freedom One batteries? Are they available through specific distributors or installer networks in Australia?
Yes, they're available through our distribution partners. So DPA Energy for East Coast. And up in Queensland, we have One Energy, and over in Perth, we have Solar My World, and in New Zealand, it's Taspac Energy. Their contact details are on our website. If you just click on the where to buy, all their details and the regions they support are there.
Great. Thanks, Paul. And it sounds like you've got some good channels set up already. And you did mention earlier that you've got some announcements coming. So looking forward to hearing more and seeing these Freedom One batteries being installed. So when you do, guys, please share your photos of your installations. We would love to see them. Have we got any other questions there, Jill, that we can answer today?
Yeah, I think this one is related to what Henny said earlier. So it's a question about safety features. So what safety features are built into the Freedom One batteries?
Yeah, we've talked
Yeah,
about that
I
a
think-
bit. So yeah, it'd be great to just summarize those points, Henny, again for us.
Yeah, I think again, just to summarize that, is around the BMS ability to soft and hard protect the battery from any unwanted events and critical incidents. The temperature control, again, managed by the BMS through reducing the performance of the battery, and then ultimately at 60 degrees switch it physically off. And then probably the one item that we have not, and that's part of the performance design, where we have pretty much to a large extent the over design bus bar within the battery, which really caused the battery to not generate a lot of heat internally. So from that perspective, it sort of contribute to that safety of the battery by maintaining a fairly low ambient temperature inside the battery.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, that's a great reminder. Thank you, Henny. I think that probably brings a lot of our questions to an end, and we're certainly nicely on time at on nearly 1 hour.
So there's one. Could Henny share some more info on a large commercial installation that have been completed in other regions around the world?
Yep.
So I think currently in Africa, a number of our industrial scale solutions that goes into 3-4 megawatt hour batteries. I think in some of the two largest kind of systems that's down there is 4 of the 4 big mega towers, which roughly comes to about 6 or 7 megawatt hours. We are Freedom One, as we speak, have just assembled 11.8 megawatt hours in containers in Christchurch, ready for shipment to Antarctic. So that system we'll see, and we are involved in quotations and dealing with selected partners with a very targeted customer base, where we are doing proposals for solutions up to 36 megawatt hours of battery bank. and 24 megawatt of inverter capacity. So we do have the capability and the scale to deliver into the 100 megawatt hours of battery bank and capability facilities.
And that's some great versatility amongst, you've got your marine and residential batteries, you've got your commercial, and that you've got your really, really big mega batteries. So lots of different options. And I think for a lot of installers, particularly the ones that are focused on residential, they might sometimes be doing a residential battery, but then they might be involved in a commercial project or even greater. So they've got possibilities across the board.
And
I'm
I
glad you
think
mentioned the Antarctica project.
Yeah.
That's going to be our flagship for Australia and New Zealand to promote the versatility and endurance of our products in such extreme conditions. So not only can it handle the harshest and hottest environments in Africa, it can handle the coldest environments in the world. So there'll be a documentary that the government is putting together that will be released once it's deployed. And we'll definitely be sharing that documentary with our installer base to share with their clients.
It sounds phenomenal. I think Paul and Henny, Jill, I think we need to go on a road trip boat trip to check that one out and take some photos and make sure it really is there and does what it needs to do. What do you reckon?
absolutely.
Sounds good to me. Well, I want to thank everyone for joining us today, and also to Henny and Paul in particular for taking the time out to share some more about Freedom One. If you know anyone that's missed this, we will have the recording available so that they can catch up and hear everything about Freedom One and the exciting journey into Australia and New Zealand. So thank you everyone for joining us, and we look forward to answering any questions that you might have. Don't forget you can reach out to us and ask away as well. So thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.